This is me competing against Karue, who I've never beaten. And in today's video, I'm going to be taking you on my journey through the US, competing with top ATP pros. This guy's even beaten Djokovic. Competing for ATP points in singles and doubles, having some disastrous moments along the way.
We have 2 flat tires. Brilliant.
And a long-awaited rematch with Karue himself. I also switched rackets. I'm giving away one of my old ones in this video. Now, as you may know, I'm on my road to become one of the best 1,000 ranked tennis players in the world, and hopefully play one of the Grand Slams one day, especially this one. And in the last journey video, I showed you what I got up to in Qatar and Kuwait, and how I nearly got taken out by Vidasco. And since then, I've been hard at work in the gym, on the court, and out of the kitchen, unfortunately, as part of a training block with my team to get fitter and faster on the court. And for 3 long weeks, I worked day in, day out to be ready for my comeback. Now, this trip to the US was a little bit different from some of the others. I was going to be training, filming, and competing over 5 weeks, and as a team, we saw this as an extension of my training block, so we knew I was going to be a bit fatigued. Now, as you saw, I started the trip off at IMG Academy, where I practiced with some of the world's best players, and literally with the best 14-year-old in the world. I also switched rackets from the CX to the FX, which after 4 years was a pretty big switch. It's going to take some getting used to. After that, we flew to Indian Wells in California, where we filmed some epic content with the Dunlop team with Draper, Kekmanovic, Jensen Brooksby, Patrick Mouratoglou himself, and next week is episode 2 of 100 vs 1, which we also filmed. And after a couple of busy filming days, we're going to be jumping into a session I had with Karue Daniel, world number 119, who's actually beaten Novak Djokovic a couple years back, which is all going to lead up to the 30k event I play later on in this video, and my match against Karue. So I hope you enjoy.
Okay, ice bath or sauna?
Ice bath in the morning, sauna at night.
Guys like David Goggins. What I do is I do like 15 minutes of sauna, 2 or 3 minute ice bath, and then 15 minutes of sauna.
Yeah, that's all.
I'll do that at the end of the day, you know?
The weather has been like not great. Normally it's way better.
When I was filming with Patrick, we got attacked by bees.
Oh really?
Mid-filming, like the whole court was like thousands of bees. They just come at us, and we're just like lying on the floor, and everyone was like panicking. I remember last year they had that bee thing. Must have been them.
Who were you hitting with while you were there?
Mate, the first couple of days was a bit hectic. I was with Gary's coach, what's his name? Martin.
Yeah.
So I was with Martin, like we're doing some one-to-one stuff to begin the week. Played with one like younger guy who was like 14.
Oh, the Korean kid?
Yeah.
He's good.
He's sick. Oh yeah, and I played with Yi Bing as well.
Yes. Well, you know this Japanese guy, Ichi?
Ichi, yeah. How'd you know Ichi?
Okay, he lived with me for...
Really? You gotta send him a picture.
So this session with Karue was right after my Indian Wells filming with some of the Dunlop guys. I was super excited to get on court with such a high quality player. It was a bit gusty in Indian Wells on this day, but I was looking to really get in a good session against a top quality player and see how these top guys train. Playing against these guys in a tiebreak is one thing, but actually practicing with them for 2 hours is a different beast.
No, like nervous, like, oh my god. You can feel like you feel sick. Have you ever had that?
Not really. I have like a lot of irritated nervous.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I need to win or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that one's actually worse. The nervous one is like, you get over it. But the irritated one is like, it gets you in a pattern. Like you do more than you have to and stuff.
You played Federer?
No, he's the only big one I haven't played.
You played Novak?
Yeah.
Okay, what was it like before you played Novak?
I lost my insoles for the shoes.
Yeah.
Right before the match. Yeah, I was more worried about that. Like, oh, like I'm playing Djokovic with like shoes that feel like massive. Yeah, I was like, there's no chance I can win, but I just hope I don't make a fool out of myself. But then he didn't play well, so I took advantage of it and won.
And you didn't even need the insoles. So there you go.
Yeah.
If anything, you should thank losing your insoles because it distracted you.
Yeah. No, for sure. Those things, they do help.
You just got to steal something from him before he plays big matches.
Because in Korea, in Seoul last year, before I start semis, I go to the stringer to pick up my rackets.
Yeah.
I had 3 rackets there.
Yeah.
All of them gone. Someone stole the racket. I had 2 or 3 rackets left.
Yeah.
And I kept stringing it during the match. But that also played a great match.
Where chaos comes, Karue plays well.
So we also jumped into some practice points play, some fee cross, hit cross, first to 10 kind of tiebreak points. Now these were super intense. Karue is one of those players that's super consistent from the baseline, so I had to come up with crazy shots like the drop shot to finish this point to try and get a point on the board. Now again, this style of player I find much better to play against because you get much better rallies and I'm in a bit more of a controlling position, but in an actual match they can be so tough to beat, and points like this show why Karue is such a high quality player. Now one other thing with all of these Indian Wells courts is that the views are insane. Just sick to play on these courts with such an amazing backdrop.
Gotta be nearly point of the year.
Good. That's what you need to feel. It's how you improve.
The cardio could do with some work. Moved on to some volleys to get ready for some points played towards the end of the session. I love coming into the net to kind of challenge the volleyer to a volley off, and yeah, he beat me on that one. We also hit some serves and some returns, just kind of working on the set plays. You can see how gusty and windy it is just by these serves. This angle really does it justice, and you can see how much the ball's moving in the air, making it very tricky to play in these conditions. And so we jumped into a tie break. Now, this was a great opportunity to try and get a win on the board against a top quality player. Again, in these tie breaks, I'm always thinking, how can I find a way to win? It's always very tricky because these guys are so competitive. But again, trying to close the net as much as possible against these guys is always key. Ducking out the way of that point. And from this side, trying to just come forwards, catch him by surprise. Seemed to be working pretty well.
For Babolat, filming stuff.
Yeah.
Or was that just kind of PR stuff?
That was just more like social media, 150th anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Because they have like a house with a tennis court.
Yeah, that's what Dunlop had. They had like
Yeah.
a house, and then they had like a lake, and then they had pickleball, tennis, football, basketball. It was crazy. It's like all these houses are crazy expensive though. They were saying it's like 100,000 a week to rent.
really?
So all the players would come and then film, and then it was like they do their photo shoot and stuff, and then they had like 2-hour slot, and then they do an hour 15 photo shoot questions, like mini games, and then I'd have 45 minutes with each player to do whatever, but usually it was like tie break questions.
And things got very close towards the end, and the stakes were on. And so if you want to see how the tiebreak ended and the rest of the video, head over to my second channel where I'm going to be posting it, and subscribe while you're there. Now, as I told you, I'm switching rackets, and I have some old ones left over, which I'm going to give away to you guys. Now, all you have to do to enter is be subscribed to my channel and go add me on Snapchat. Username's on the screen right now, and on my Snap story, I'm going to be choosing someone and sending you a racket, and I'll sign it if you want, so get entering. So moving on from Indian Wells, we drove to Newport Beach, where I was going to be practicing for a week with my coach, doing a few practice sessions out there, and also filming some cool content. And this was one of our practice sessions.
Alright guys, so today's session we're going to be testing out the baseline. Now, I used this in the past, I did a little review, so there'll be a link in the description to that. But essentially with me and Paul, we're going to be working on specific shots, we're going to be tracking speed, net clearance, that type of stuff, and then basically working on those things during the session using the data, and then we're going to track that over this session in a week's time, in the next week. Little warm up, yeah, then we'll get it all set up and ready to go.
And after Paul, my coach, warms up some beautiful forehands and slices, we were ready to go.
So I'm going to feed Felix 10 forehands. He's going to hit them cross court, and we're going to measure the speed of his forehand.
This forehand speed drill was simple, 10 balls cross, one of my favourites, just to really kind of get loose, and of course actually tracking where I'm hitting the balls to make sure that we can actually work to improve some of the areas.
Average speed 84, 83% above 60 miles an hour.
Do you want to do 10 again?
Yep. Average speed there was like about 80, 85. And I was taking a little bit off. For all of those in the comments of those reels that I post on Instagram that are like, oh my God, it's not 100 miles an hour. That was 85, so it is. Two out, so 80%. Average speed 78. Max speed 92. 25% within 7 foot of the baseline. Definitely could go for more depth. Should we try and do just max speed now?
Yeah, let me give you 5.
Oh yeah. Average speed 103, max speed 105. I say it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that might be right.
And later that day, to put practice into a match, I phoned up my friend Mohammed, who was playing a UTR event at Newport Beach, to play some points. So Mohammed's a college player, plays for a Division 1 college. We actually met in Monastir quite a few years ago, where the week before I did, he got his first ATP point and was ranked at just 18 years old for singles. He's ranked 953 in the world for doubles and has a UTR of 12.55, which is very respectable. Mine, on the other hand, is 12.18, which we definitely need to be getting up. So let's jump into some of the points. We were essentially playing a practice set. Now, my aim here was very simple. Get used to this new racket before I was going to be competing in Bakersfield 25k, throwing myself into the deep end a little bit later on at the end of the week. Now, I really wanted to get a feel for how it played in different situations, how much I could trust it. I did feel very confident with it initially from my training at IMG, from when I started playing with it. However, there are always growing pains, especially under pressure, so I knew that was going to be coming. But I felt really comfortable with it straight away. I got good depth on a lot of my shots. Backhand felt very comfortable. I was coming in regularly and it felt great. And I think overall, it was a really natural switch for my game. Now, my game's obviously very aggressive, and my coach, as you can see on the left, was monitoring some of the baseline, so it was actually calling the lines during some of these points, and also giving us some live stats on what the serve percentages were, who was winning more service points, so they gave some good real-time feedback, which we were working off. My intentions, which I talked to him about, were being aggressive, really going for and looking for the returns, and being the one to try and do something in the rallies, you know, really using my feet to create chances. Now, of course, when you're thinking about a lot of things in points, sometimes, you know, you lose a bit of concentration, so working on keeping the concentration as well. But overall, I thought the level with Mohammed was super high, and it gave me a lot of confidence this session.
Come on.
Now, the courts here at this UTR event were pretty slow, so this set was actually taking so long. It was an absolute battle between both of us. Both of us were actually playing really good, I thought, and I was really happy with how I was playing at this point. And as you can see here, at 5-all in the set, we were both getting very competitive and things were getting tight. And so I managed to break Mohammed to try and serve it out. Let's see if I can get it done. And so overall, a pretty successful session with Mohammed, who ended up making the semis of the UTR Pro event, so congrats to him. And now it's time to head to Bakersfield, California for the 30K event.
Also guys, I just wanted to say we're nearly at 250,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. If you go down there, check if you're subscribed. If you are, amazing. If you're not, then please help us out. It really means the world and also allows us to make more of these types of videos. So thank you, and let's carry on with the video. Yes guys, we're out here, Bakersfield, California, 30K event. Excited to be out here. Today's the day before qualies, Sunday. Weird Monday start. I don't know what's going on there. Just gonna get an hour in this morning, a bit of movement, a bit of specifics, feel the ball. First time hitting on these courts, so just trying to feel how they play. They feel pretty nice, so enjoy a little compilation of me trying to feel the ball. the court. It's one of the most underrated things at a tournament. Actually knowing the surface really helps. Like, a lot of people take it for granted, they just show up. Being here 1 or 2 days early makes quite a big difference. I'm a little bit apprehensive to see whether all of the hard work that we've put in over the last months with Paul, my S&C coach, my team, has worked. And by worked, I don't mean winning. I mean feeling more comfortable, quicker, faster, right intentions, and playing good tennis and enjoying it. That's what better means for me at this event. And going on through the year, that should trickle down and obviously lead to better results. You can't expect it to be in the first event back, but I'd like to see a couple of improvements and feel a couple of improvements in the game. Can't ask for more than that, and yeah, let's go crush it and hopefully win. Let's make the one American tournament of the year a good one.
Right guys, it is that time to check the draw. Now a lot of people pulled out at the last minute, which is kind of usual at these ITF events, but I'm pretty excited. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you get in the draw. Not going to change my opinion of my level and all that type of stuff. But it's nice to have a better draw. Like, you know. With that being said, let's take a look. Seed number 14, Ian Mayu from USA, ranked 1,659 in the world, meaning he's got 2 ATP points, so 1 more than I do currently. 18 years old, so wow. Let's see if he has a junior ranking. Ooh, 25 in the world for juniors, so this guy's going to be solid. Yeah, had dinner, going to head to bed and get ready for tomorrow. Let's go get the W.
Just woke up, just feeling so thankful. Really just happy to be here on this journey. Like, I don't know, sometimes you get these waves of emotions. Yeah, just really thankful that I'm able to be out here on a random Monday in March, competing, chasing kind of my goals, my dreams. Yeah, just had a little moment of reflection, just really appreciative of, you know, all of you guys, you know, the hard work we put into the channel, you know, paying off. It's just awesome. It's just really cool. 8:30, let's get going with the day, come on.
So I'll take this creatine every single morning with some electrolytes just to kind of get the body started, whack it into a bottle of water, give it a shake. Lovely. Oh, I do love me some eggs. I'm gonna go 5 eggs today. Get that protein in. Very nice. Right, little taste test on the hazelnut coffee. Ooh, subtle. I'm giving that an 8 out of 10. That is actually banging though. If you want to see more coffee reviews on the channel, drop a comment down below. Realistic bag check. There we go. Got rackets, banana, water bottle. It's a bit of a mess. That's genuinely what the bag's looking like. As opposed to what you see on YouTube, a very clean, nice bag. That's what it looks like on a tournament day. I've also got this small bag for all of my like clothes and stuff. Some clothes, some wires. This ball is very cool. Very useful for my warm-ups. Let's get going.
So what are you doing right now?
Forgot my tennis shoes. I have some in the boot. These ones have holes in them. Look at this. And the shoelace is broken. But at least I have something to warm up with. I have to send Dad back on the mission to get them from home. The car keys.
You forgot the car keys.
Great start.
Is this your first match with the blue racket?
Yep, I'm excited to see how it goes, but I don't know. In practice, it's like when I make an error, the ball just into space, but then when I hit it well, it goes massive. So these next few matches with the new racket after a training block are more just to kind of get back in the swing of things. Also guys, if you want to see what I get up to like day to day, go add my Snapchat. It'll be on the screen right now. Posting loads of stuff on there, literally 20, 30 stories of what I get up to each day. So if you're interested, go add it. Plus I'll be doing some giveaways on there, so if you don't want to miss out. Playing Miami Open this week. The door lock at our house is broken, so now Dad has to call the Airbnb owner to come and unlock it. So it looks like I might be playing my match in these beaten up shoes.
It's going to be difficult. No surprises, it's going to be difficult out there.
Just accept it.
Yeah, you accept it. You're going to have good moments. You accept that you'll have some difficult moments. But there's a way. The important thing is you can't keep a level head.
Yeah. So here we go, round 1 of qualifying in Bakersfield, California. Now this week looked a little bit more like a challenger than a futures event, with everybody in the qualies being ranked. Initially I wasn't even in the qualifying draw, but managed to squeak in at the last second, so I was thankful to get a chance to compete at all. Now my opponent started off very strong, some strong serving, setting the precedent for this match, and I knew I'd have to really pick my targets and go for the right times to try and win the points, because otherwise I was in some serious trouble. As you can see here, early on, some crazy scrambling points, with a tweener even setting the tone for some of these points. Now, the one thing that stands out initially from watching myself back, I'm moving so much better. And I took that already as one of the very positive things to take away from this match. The training block that I've done over the last 3 or 4 weeks since I played in Q8 has definitely paid off. The fluidity around the court felt so much better, and I was able to actually place my shots in a much better way. Now, of course, like I said, with the new racket, it was going to be an interesting match to see if I could get my shots under control and really try and do some damage with this new power racket. But as a base, I felt I was moving a lot better. In practice, it's like when I make an error, the ball just into space. Now, definitely not the start we wanted here, going to break down, and my opponent making the most of it by converting his service games, really not giving me many chances to win a lot of points. Now, I knew here, on the back foot here at 3-love, 30-love, my opponent's gaining in confidence, and I'd really have to try and dig myself out of this hole if I want to come back in this first set. Now, I also think it's very easy to get down on yourself in a position like this. You know, starting off the match, not as strong, opponent comes out pretty hot. I think you've just got to bide your time a little bit. I think I almost began to rush, began to panic towards this first set to try and do a little bit too much. And I think Paul was telling me here a little bit, and my brother as well, who was there, just to try and calm down, stick with my weapons, really try and look to focus on this second set now, regroup and do some damage. And that's exactly what the plan was. Looking to step in slightly more, be slightly more clinical with my shots, but also bide my time. Now, looking for the right shots is crucial, but also making sure that the rally ball is a little bit more consistent, you know, making sure that I'm choosing the right shots. You know, this service game is going to be absolutely key to start this set off without getting broken. And let's just say I began to turn it on. I was really beginning to feel this racket. I was beginning to feel much more confident on that backhand side as well, making a lot more balls. And I could tell I've just got a foot in the door now. Shots like that were really reinforcing my play style, and I knew, look, if I want to be a better tennis player, I'm going to have to take a little bit more risk in these matches. I'm going to have to go for a little bit more, and that might mean losing a little bit more in the beginning, but I'm fine with that because my intention's right. You watch these guys, Alcaraz, Draper, Sinner, they smack the ball so big and they go for their shots and they're aggressive like this, and sometimes, as you see, it doesn't pay off. My opponent hits a winner, but the intention of playing like that, playing shots like that, is what's going to take me to the next level. And I've had these conversations with my coach, and look, some days you're going to lose some sets 6-0, but if that's what it takes to get to the next level and to keep committing to my game, that when it does begin to come off more consistently, that's really what we're looking for here. At 2-2 in this second set, I really felt I could turn this around. And at 30-all here, a chance potentially to set up a break point. And unfortunately, getting a net caught against me and giving back that break. But nevertheless, a chance here on serve to really try and solidify some momentum on my side here. Going 40-15 up. And then the heavens began to open. They stopped all the matches due to a rain delay, cutting off the momentum that I was building, and we'd have to go again the next day.
Right guys, so day number 2, heading to the courts. Nice and early start since they had to start at 10 AM. I want to come out of the gates super hot, super hyped. Let's not make the same mistake of coming out a little bit flat. Let's go win this thing. One more point, a break, we're up 4-3, and then we're serving to go up a break. That's the ideal start, so let's make that happen. And look, if it doesn't go my way, it doesn't go my way. The guy's a good player. I've explained a lot of the circumstances of this trip, but it's one of many, and there's many more to come, so yeah, let's make it a good one. Come on.
And as we've said that, we have 2 flat tyres. Brilliant. I'm not sure whether someone has come and tried to sabotage my match, or we've just been super unlucky, but got about an hour to my match and we have no way of getting there. It's half an hour away. We've called an Uber, but definitely not the start we wanted today. However, not going to let that get us down. Bakersfield's an interesting one so far.
So we made it to site. Courts are looking pretty damp. I mean, this one's a practice court at the back. Pretty slippery, but a little match warm up, because once the courts are dry, they're going to be saying, oh yeah, go on, and we're not going to have warmed up. I just hope it doesn't start raining again. So we'll make the most of it.
Now, starting fresh on the next day felt a little bit strange. I was going to have to go into it at 40-30 up at 3-2 and almost put a little bit of pressure of where am I going to serve, where I'm going to play. A lot of these thoughts racing through my head, which was obviously not normal because I've never been in this situation before in a futures tournament. And as you can see, the court extremely wet, not wanting to move too much. I was a little bit apprehensive, but also excited. I wanted to keep that positive mindset locked in, as I said, and really just try and start the match off on the best possible foot. And so here, resuming at the 40-30 point, looking really to try and do some damage, but Ian hitting a winner, taking the most of that opportunity on that slice. Definitely not the start we wanted. However, looking for chances here on the forehand was definitely the way that I wanted to play. Coming forward was also how I wanted to do it. And 2 good points see me go break point down already. And there we go, taking it back to my advantage. Definitely where we want to be. Now a little bit similar to the start of the last set, my opponent just comes out hot out the gate. I didn't do too much wrong, and that ball landing bang on the line, reinforcing that, giving my opponent a chance to come back into this match. He was loving those drop shots. I was running all over the court, landing again on the baseline, not able to pull off the tweener, and Ian now with a break point to take it to go 4-2. This noise of this wind blower in the background also really jarring. I can't lie, I don't know why they were doing that. And I go a break down. And I felt like all of this positive momentum and positive energy I was building just kind of got wiped out a little bit all in one go. And here at 5-2, I definitely didn't feel that the scoreline reflected how I was playing. I was actually very happy with my performance. I felt I was doing all of the right things, and I wanted to try and find a way back into this match. And just pulling the trigger line there, I thought I had a chance. Ian with the body serve, catching me off guard, and I end up losing the match. So definitely not the match we wanted, but now it's time for doubles to try and make up for it. And so in the first round of doubles, we had the pleasure of playing the seed number 3. Charles Broom ranked 311 in singles and 159 in doubles. He's made challenger finals. He's played on the Davis Cup team for the UK. A very solid doubles player. And his partner, Alistair Gray. He's won a round at Wimbledon in singles, formerly 237 and now 427 in the world. He doesn't have a great doubles ranking right now, but he's been as high as 300. So these guys were going to be a really tough test. So this week I was playing with my friend Jake from America. Now we knew these guys were going to be tough, and starting off we definitely wanted to win our own service game. Now there was a massive crowd out here in Bakersfield, loads of support, a lot of you guys that came to watch, so appreciate all of you for showing up. I really appreciate your guys' support when you come out. And we started off on the right foot, going up 1-love here. Now these guys could play doubles. There's a big difference on this futures tour. There's some guys that can't play, there's some guys that can play, and I've fortunately been on the side of with some players that definitely can play doubles, Michael Agui, Yanaki Milev, just to name a few. And these guys that we were playing could also play. And they were very tactically aware, which is the biggest difference. They were very solid, good first serves. And so me and Jake kind of hatched a game plan at the beginning of this one to try and do as much as possible to win our service games, but be very aggressive on serve. Backhands like that, really planning to do damage and going for our shots. We said, look, it's okay if we have 1 or 2 games where we hit a few balls long, but we're looking for that one break in this set because we're confident we're going to hold our serves. Now I actually served really well in this match. I was very happy with how I was serving, a lot of overheads as well. I think we had some good team chemistry, me and Jake, for playing the first time together, whipping out the celebration as well. Now, in a lot of instances, playing together for the first time is always a little bit tricky, but we just kind of began to just play amazing the more the match went on. So I had a lot of confidence here, kind of 3-all with we could actually win this match, even though on paper the odds were heavily stacked against us. That's what tennis is all about, trying to find a way to come against the odds and win. And feeling super sharp at the net on this day was definitely helping. But with that being said, going down 40 love here on Jake's serve, really trying to be clinical at the net, bringing it all the way back to sudden death juice, deciding point. I get a smash and we put it away to go 5-4 up. And now it's all to play for, trying to close out the set or at least take it to a tie break. And there we go, we've got the tiebreak at a very minimum, swinging through these returns, and that's just absolutely ridiculous from Alistair. On the feet, overhead from me, Rafa style, crazy point there. Some of the level of this doubles was absolutely ridiculous, and it goes to a tiebreak. Now, we wanted to be really clinical. I had a suspicion that these guys were going to be ruthless. They weren't going to give us anything. The high level players tend to do that. Look at Novak at French Open when he just didn't lose a single point or make an unforced error in tie breaks. So we go down 4-2 here. We needed to take every chance possible, look to be aggressive, come to the net, be the ones to do something. Getting a little bit lucky on that net cord, and here at 5-3, a good chance on serve to try and put some pressure on these guys. And a big point here at 5-4. Great ball down the line from Charles, and 6-4, serving to the backhand, trying to do a bit too much, and we end up losing the first set here, unfortunately. However, all hope was not lost, because we came out in the second set with some newfound inspiration. Somehow, we had a little bit of a pep talk at the change of ends, and we came out with loads and loads of energy. Now, points like that weren't going to stop us, but in this first game, we instantly had some break points, and I just channeled my inner double specialist. And we managed to get the break. Now it's on serve here, and we're trying to run away with this set. Oh, an insane return there from me. Crazy point. Sometimes you just got to risk it in doubles, get forward to the net, put some pressure on them, but they do manage to hold. And now we're up a break, but I can sense that they're on the comeback. In my opinion, one of the most underrated shots in doubles is the smash. You can see how many smashes we played in this match. If you can become clinical at putting away these smashes in tough positions, easy positions, sometimes the easy ones are quite tricky, like that, you're going to be a very clinical and good doubles player. And that was the difference here between holding our break or losing it. And now, again, just trying to scramble as much as possible. Can we find another one to try and run away with this set? And just for some context, guys, the reason why this doubles match is so important, I have 29 doubles points to defend over the next 6 weeks. So this was going to be a massive opportunity to pick up 3 ATP points if we can win this one. Now, obviously puts more and more pressure on me as time goes on, because if I lose these points, I'm going to be dropping down the rankings and potentially not securing as many seeded positions in tournaments, and potentially also not really getting into as many doubles tournaments. So this makes a huge difference if we can manage to clinch out this one. Missing that ball wide, very surprisingly, giving us the chance here to serve at 4-3. Really looking to capitalise on that, uncharacteristic error. He'd been on the singles court for 3 hours already, having won his singles match, so maybe a little bit of fatigue creeping in. But a chance here at deuce, crazy drop shot, and we end up losing the break. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. I literally could not believe it that ball had just rolled over the net, and something in these guys now began to just click. And as you can see, Alistair with some insane points. So now we're right up against it to have to serve it out to stay in this match from being up a break. putting it up, and the ball just travelling long, and they get the better of us in a well-fought battle.
So guys, definitely not the result we wanted in Bakersfield. However, all hope was not lost. There was one elusive opponent that was in the US that I have never ever beaten. And in fact, every time we've played, I've got absolutely destroyed and nearly bageled. Now, this opponent, as you may know, is Karue. And when we lost in doubles, I had the opportunity to go and play against him on the one day I had left in America. Right guys, so we're here at UCLA to challenge a very special player, Karue. Here he comes.
Hello.
Mr.
What's up?
Mr. Famous on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm the one.
Mr. ATP
Get
Pro.
the hell out of here.
So he's a little bit handicapped with his shoulder, he can't quite serve. So if I'm ever going to beat him, it's going to be today. When he's actually competing full power, I've got no chance. So let's give it a go and see what he's got.
So me and Karue got to hitting on these beautiful courts. It was great to strike some balls with him, as always. But I could tell there was a pressure building. I could tell he was beginning to lock in. And I was a bit nervous for this one.
You can tell when Karue starts going quiet that he's locked in. It's like a menacing silence. You know he's fully trying.
So, starting of this set, I was super excited. Obviously, I'm serving the whole time, so I have to bear in mind the physical toll. Gonna have to try and take as much time as possible between points. And Karue started red hot, returns like that, just setting the tone for what it was about to happen, and already getting toyed with. This is not what we want. But with that being said, winning one game in the sets that we've played really wasn't a good record for me, so I was going to be happy to, get a couple games on the board and not get embarrassed. I definitely think that my levels improved overall, so I should have a much better chance. And I was hoping to, of course, win this set. That was my mindset, to go out there and win it. But with that being said, Karue is a great player, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to try and almost play good against him, also for the content. But you also have to remember, we're playing tennis at the end of the day, so you have to be super locked in. My brother made a joke that if I got bageled, I'd have to delete my channel, and I agreed that that would be pretty embarrassing. So definitely didn't want to let that happen. And from the off, really trying to be aggressive into Karue's backhand. That was his more stable side, but I felt it wasn't as damaging. He definitely moved the ball extremely well, and I wanted to get on my forehand as much as possible like that. But the nerves were definitely there. I was very nervous at the beginning of this match, and almost putting a lot of pressure on myself definitely didn't help with how I was trying to play. But shots like that were really exactly what I was trying to do, and I accepted, look, it might take a couple of games to get going, but once I am and I'm playing my game, I'm gonna win some. Now, in actually a few of these longer points towards the beginning of the match, I was having some good fortune. I was actually winning quite a few of them. However, with that being said, I was giving him a couple free points here and there, ball slightly long, and I'm looking down the barrel of a 3-0 deficit.
Right guys, so we're going to be asking Karue some questions and having a little chat with him, because it has been a while. I think last time we played together was around this time last year. We also played doubles last year in Bakersfield.
Oh my God.
We didn't actually post any of the footage because the camera slipped. So I think we're still waiting to this day for a doubles collab. So we've got to make that happen at some point. I mean, first question to you, obviously you played recently in your first ATP event. What was that like?
It was like the experience of my life, I think. Obviously, because it was in Brazil, there was a crazy amount of support. It was a big court. I was playing Argentinian guys, so the crowd got really into it. I ended up losing 6-4 in the third, but the atmosphere was insane. Like I have the videos, just like awful quality videos, but like they're like the best videos I've ever had in a tennis court.
Now, 3-love 30-all, this was an absolutely pivotal point. There's a huge difference between 3-love and 4-love. And with that being said, 3-love 30-40, I didn't know it yet, but this was going to be a turning point. And there it is, the first game, straight after that crazy get, a glimmer of hope and just a weight lifted off my back. I don't know what it was. I wasn't overthinking this match too much, there's nothing on the line. But I really wanted to win this one, and with a 3-1 deficit now, it's all to play for. Great change of pace there by Karue, really doing a good job, then ghosting into the net. Me doing, good scramble, but not quite enough. And again, Karue with a game point to go 4-1 up. Great serve from me, pressing the net as much as possible. I just wanted to hang in there, build in a couple games, build up a bit of momentum, and see what I can do. But just crazy returns like that just took me off guard a little bit, if I'm honest. The guys that I'm playing regularly just aren't hitting shots like that. And with a 4-1 deficit now, I really needed to shift gears. With a great ace, building a little bit of momentum in this game, definitely needed to not let Karue get too far ahead. And I was going to be there all day, take that point, and 30 love here with a great serve out wide, really setting the tone. Karue maybe beginning to feel, okay, Felix is coming back in this one, and I could definitely feel that from his play.
I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
If you were to play Marcus, Indian Wells final, centre court, right now, what was the score going to be?
Oh, if we were both in the finals of Indian Wells, like we're playing with house money at that point, huh? But I'd like to think I'd have a chance. Like I'd like to think I'd play, a good 3-setter. But like the reality is, I think I'd wanted to. But I've played Marcus before, and I wanted to beat him so badly that I
It's like me here.
Oh, it was exactly that. He knows. He's a funny story, but like you can ask him. I wanted to beat him so badly. I came in so hot, and within 4 games, I was gassed. I was just like running after everything. I was close to getting a break. I never got the break. He beat me 6-4, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I just fell apart. So Marcus is doing great, man. He's making it hard for me to take any sets from him this day. So I need to get better.
And now 4-3. It's all to play for. Everything's on the line here. Really trying to go for a bit too much on that forehand. You could tell I was a bit excited by the scoreline. This is the best I've ever done against Karue in a set. Of course, remembering I am serving the whole time, but I was still super, super pumped to try and win this set. 30 all, an absolutely massive point here because this can set the tone. Difference between 5-3 and 4 all is massive. Really just trying to stay in this point, move the ball around nicely, not to put too much pressure on him. Karue's able to really stay solid, but I do get an error out of him. And suddenly, how things have changed from 3 love back to 4 all, and now it's all to play for. Not getting that drop shot could prove to be a game changer, but with a great drop shot back, I found a way to stay in this game. But once again, Karue with a game point couldn't convert. Is that a sign he's human, missing returns? I haven't seen that much from Karue, and with the juice point here, this could change everything. And a chance here to go 5-4 up in this set. Absolutely huge, great kind of volley pickup from myself. He goes over me. I can't quite get there. What a crazy point. And again now, back to juice. And a ridiculous return there from Karue. I mean, that's just insane. Come on. And he finds a way out of the darkness. that ball landing on the line. Karue takes it to 5-4. A deserved break, to be fair. Not much else I could have particularly done. Just goes to show that someone of his level, when he turns it on, it's really not much that you can do. But with that being said, I'm not going to give in too easily. I'm going to fight back. And with some solid serving, giving myself a chance to level it out again. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? That's crazy. With that ball wide, it's level.
When your kind of career is all said and done with, which hopefully isn't going to be soon, what would you say would be your kind of crowning achievement that you'd love to be able to say, when I retire one day, I've achieved that? Or is there something?
That is a great question. I mean, goal-wise, I definitely just, I would like to play a slam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would like to be top 200. Those are two things that if I finish my career with how weird it went, and I'm able to come back at 30 and get to top 200 and play some slams, and maybe even like sneak into masters nowadays with the bigger draws, that would be a really big achievement for myself. I'd love to play Indian Wells. That would be the one tournament.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, just one time play Indian Wells. That would be great, and hopefully play Rio a few more times because Rio is amazing.
5-all pressure moment. Now, Karue loves a good pressure moment. I've watched a lot of his videos. He loves these types of plays. Going with that lob, not quite putting enough dip on it, giving Karue a chance here in this game. Really felt a little bit of the pressure and just couldn't put that backhand in, proving to be costly as Karue gets the break to go 6-5 up here. Now, definitely feeling it physically towards the end of this set. I'm not going to lie, a lot of serving has gone into it, and potentially choosing the wrong shots to play, like coming forward to the net when I'm not as fresh, could prove to be vital. Again, Karue shot on the line, some great plays, and suddenly from 5-all, I find myself match point down. And Karue approaching the net, the lob just travelling long, and Karue wins the set, but credit where credit's due, some great tennis in there.
I'd just like to know your thoughts on how we played last time and how we played this time. Fundamentally also, do you think I improved a little bit?
Yes, I do think you've improved. I think I still, for the most part, it's still, I think your higher level is higher.
Yeah.
But there's still too many of these like stretches of just like, it's like 3 minutes, but you've made so many mistakes. You went down either 3-0 or at the end there, like 2 games that basically I just made a return. You made a first ball error. You never made me like work for those. I needed to work for those, and so I do think there's more of a tendency of you when you start losing, you start rushing, you start going like in a Nick Kyrgios kind of like pace. I think actually you could pull yourself back and relax a little bit. In terms of your game, I actually think like your backhand was slightly better. You're taking some of them early in the cross. I still think you go into the line a little bit too much, like too often, that you don't need. In general, you looked slightly calmer and slightly less, you know what I mean? Just like running on the red line. And for stretches there, you played good, but you got to eliminate that. Just it's like 3 minutes of like really bad tennis, and then you're just in a hole. You know?
It's true, because a lot of the time, like, I don't know what it is, but every time I'm playing against you, I feel this sort of like ominous like presence from the other side, like, and I almost feel like I got to do a bit. And,
and that's normal. I mean, I feel like that playing someone like slightly, higher level than me. If I'm playing Marcos in practice or something, I'm always like, God, do I need to? And then usually when I beat him is when I like just play it's just free, simple, into good targets, and that's it. Like nothing crazy. It's just you're a good mover. You still need to. I still want you to figure out how to beat me on physicality. Yeah. And not like necessarily on ball striking. That would be an interesting one for you.
Anyway, appreciate the time.
Good. We made it.
Good
we made it.
Every
year.
tournaments coming up.
Thank you. Good luck to you as well. Let's go.
And so that's it for my America trip. I hope you enjoyed this longer style of video, and if you did, I'd appreciate it by you dropping a like on this video and subscribing if you haven't already to help support the channel. And make sure to click the bell because next week we've got episode 2 of 100 vs 1 and you definitely don't want to miss it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Never need no man to tell me what to do.